Hi, Nancy. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. So I'm super excited about Carmen. When I saw the trailer, it won me over, and I could tell it was like one of those films that are just so empowering.
Great, thank you. Yes, and yep, I do believe it will empower. Already, people who've already seen it said yes, and feel like either kicking something or running towards something, or singing, whatever you want to do. Yeah, it empowers.
And I didn't even know yet that was based on a true event. It sounds like more of a love letter for your aunt, based on a true story.
Yeah, yes, it is. So, how it came about was back in, so I'm originally from Malta, and we immigrated to Canada when I was a baby. And so I grew up here in Toronto in the Maltese neighborhood. So, I got a lot of Maltese in me, let's put it that way. And I go back regularly. And back in 2013, I went with my son and we met up with all sorts of relatives and that sort of thing. And um, I met up with my Aunt Rita, my cousin, who happens to be a priest, Father Tonino. He took me to visit Aunt Rita. And, I could never really figure out her story. She always dressed in black. She was very pious. At Christmas, she would send us all $6 in an envelope. I was just like, what's her thing? And Father Tonino, my cousin, said, well, there was this tradition that when a man became a priest in Malta, which many households had a son who became a priest, just the way it is. His sister would go with him and be his maid, and she wouldn't get a salary, an education, or a family of her own. And my Aunt Rita did that at the age of 13. She was sent off to be with my great uncle, who was a Monsignor. And then when he passed away, she went on to take care of my uncle, parish priest. And that was her life. And when he passed away, she was, family took her in, and now she's in a home. She's about 97 years old, in a home in a village called Rabat. So I took that tradition and wrote Carmen. Um, yeah. And you see, when I came back from that trip, I spoke to a lot of friends from Ireland and India, and they all said, "Oh, I have an aunt who went through a similar story, or same thing in India, same kind of thing." And sometimes the eldest daughter has to stay behind to take care of the parents or the grandparents and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I wrote this not because it's just, I think, a great story, but what if she kicked through those doors and made it her own, what if she spoke out? And that's for every woman who's been squashed by the patriarchy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a tradition I did not know about, which so it continues
No,
to.
not anymore in Malta.
Okay.
No, that doesn't happen anymore. Um, Although when I do go back or speak to Maltese people in Toronto, they say, "Oh, I have, a relative who did that." So I don't believe it goes on anymore, and hopefully not. Yeah.
It's so sad because they have no word on what their destiny is going to be, right? It's pretty much picked. There you go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's kind of like, which may not be a bad thing. I don't want to, judge anything, but arranged marriages and that sort of thing. It's, you don't know how it's going to turn out.
Right. Definitely no judgment. Tradition is tradition. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, yeah. But when I went back to visit Aunt Rita after we shot the film, I went with another cousin. Her name is Rita as well, and you know, we asked Aunt Rita uh, about, like, I asked her if she had any photographs of herself when she was younger, and she said no, nobody wanted to take a picture of me. And we told her about the film, and she said my life was terrible, and she just broke down into tears. And it really sucks. Yeah.
Did your Aunt Rita watch the film?
No, we were hoping, the film is going to be released any minute now in Malta, and I was trying to get her there, but she now has dementia and is bedridden. So yeah,
That's unfortunate. I would have loved to know what her expression would have been watching the film.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
talking about the film, in one of the opening scenes, it's that they talk about Carmen and how they express her to be like this living dead person that's just, you know, doing her job and kind of neglected and ignored.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when someone's spirit is squashed, you know. And although these women, being villagers, know her, I don't want to give a lot away here because I don't know if anybody, some people may
No
not have seen
spoilers.
it. Yeah, no spoilers. So these women are are judgy people, judgmental and gossipy ladies, and it's like, poor her, but come on, get on with your life, lady. uh, she does drift around like a ghost because her spirit has been sucked out of her at the age of, in our story, age of 16. You know, um, first with the love interest that she had then, and then being pushed into the church. Um, and 35 years of being a maid and not using her voice much at all.
Mhm.
Then, I don't know if you've experienced this, but if you haven't spoken in a day or two, and I think COVID did that to a lot of people, it's difficult to speak out. It's difficult to use your voice again. So imagine slowly in 35 years where it just gets squish, 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 squish. It's difficult to rise up.
Not only our voice, but even just being comfortable in our bubble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can we talk about the scene underwater? Bring that in that transition.
I tend to have underwater scenes a lot in my films. I'm just really attracted to water. I'm a water, like I love being in water. So that's but to be smarter about it, um, it's baptismal, which is about cleansing, right? Um, she makes the choice to go into the water initially, and then there's that choice of surrendering to death or not, right? And if she surrendered, she'd be with her love, and if she keeps fighting, she won't be. And that in that moment is the crux of her future, right there and then.
I
Yeah.
loved the backstory.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
love Carmen's backstory. I knew there was something until that scene came, and I was like, "Ooh, there's more to it."
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And there was also the character for Rita, which is kind of going. It was about to go the same route, right, as Carmen.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is all about like the experienced, um, as if you could say Carmen is experienced, but her experience helping the innocent, the elder helping the newbie, like get out, advice, giving advice, uh, directing her in the right way, and then the tension and that's going on with the young newbie, the Rita character, and it's like, well, her duty, that duality between duty and what she really wants to do, like, and then that's, I think, sometimes what the church does to a lot of people. It's like I want to, sometimes it just helps guide people, if you don't want to think, and then for others it's like, but I want to do this, I want to do that. And so what I've been looking at a lot in this story, and many of my stories, is the church versus the spirituality,
Mhm.
church versus religion. What's that about? What is kindness? What is duty? What is all of that? it has hints of that throughout the film without hammering it in, Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, you're also the writer, so how did you bring in that witty, fun, free spirit of Carmen? I enjoyed the scenes, like the wife, where it was like, how do I get my husband to not come back? Cook for him the same thing.
Yeah, I have 5 sisters, and I have a ton of aunts. I'm surrounded by women of all ages all the time, so I hear a lot of great stories, and I weave them in. And I remember somebody told me I'm a terrible cook, but somebody once said to me, or maybe I'm not a terrible cook, but I just don't enjoy it, um, uh, as some others do. I like eating though. And someone said to get to a man's heart is you have to go through his stomach, and that's always stayed with me. So that's that whole vignette. But also, I should tell you that divorce in Malta wasn't legal till about 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so a woman would have to put up with any sort of you know crap, um, and it's sometimes some of them don't have their own bank accounts or have an education. um, Education for girls in Malta wasn't compulsory till 1975.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, so that's what that whole like get rid of your husband by feeding him the same meal, that's where all of that comes from. It's like, how could you get rid of your husband without hurting him?
Had to get
um
creative.
yeah, you have to get creative. So, and I tend to, that's what I like to do, is like get a sad story and stick a bit of humor into it.
Mhm.
You may catch the of it, but or not. And yeah, yeah.
Well, I was watching the film and by myself and laughing by myself, and it was a joy to
Yay.
watch. Thank you so much, Valerie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and people will be watching it very soon. I believe September 23rd,
That's it.
theatrical and VOD.
Yep. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Take care. Bye
You
bye.
too.